What if the gospel isn't what you thought it was? What if there were much more to it? And what if there were a Bible that revealed depth and detail in the gospel like you'd never seen before? A Bible that showed you exactly what the Messiah was doing every week of his ministry, like watching a movie of his life leap from the pages. A Bible that put the gospel in 3D.
Hi, I'm Scott Laird. Welcome to the program. I have found the answers. I have discovered the most fascinating book that has answered questions I have had about life and the Bible that have bothered me my entire life. It is a book which has had a profound impact on me and my family. It has given me answers to questions that I didn't even know I had. Have you ever read a story in the Bible and then read the same account in another gospel and found things that just didn't line up? Or maybe you were just plain confused when you picked up the scriptures. For some, these things just don't matter. They think that life is just the result of millions of years of evolution in a completely meaningless universe. Or perhaps, like most people, they think they get the basic idea of the gospel message in church or television, and that's good enough for them. But for others, like my wife and myself, their desire to understand the meaning of life is that which drives them to dig deeper into the Bible. They find themselves tired of religion, yet they hunger for truth. Divisive denominational dogmas and these apparent contradictions in the Gospels are what led Michael Rood on what turned out to be a 40-year research project. After living in the land of Israel for the past 2 decades, he has now published his amazing discoveries in what many are calling the greatest book about the greatest book ever written, the Chronological Gospels. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you, Scott. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Now, Michael, the subtitle of your book, The Life and 70-Week Ministry of the Messiah. I always thought that Jesus' ministry was 3.5 years. Everybody knows that. So how in the world did you come to the conclusion that it was only 70 weeks?
Scott, no one has ever been able to prove the 3.5-year ministry hypothesis. In fact, Matthew, Mark, and Luke clearly record just 1 year. It is the modern versions of the Gospel of John which brings in the point of confusion. Attempting to spread out the gospel events over a 3.5-year period is what causes most of the confusion and inaccurate translations. The Gospels become almost biographical nonsense.
Where did we get this idea of a 3.5-year ministry?
It was one man in the 4th century, Eusebius. After more than 300 years of undisputed testimony from the apostles, their disciples, the early church fathers, and historians, they all stated without variation that Jesus' ministry was about 1 year.
Eusebius, who was he, and why did he come up with a 3.5-year ministry?
Eusebius was the overseer of a church in Caesarea, who first articulated a 3.5-year ministry as a proposed solution to Daniel's 70-week messianic prophecy. Eusebius wrote that Jesus' ministry was 3.5 years, which is 1/2 of a week. Now, since when is 3.5 years 1/2 of a week? In the book of Daniel, chapter 9, it is a cryptic prophecy that even Sir Isaac Newton failed to solve 400 years ago. Eusebius missed it by a mile.
So how did you discover that his ministry was only 70 weeks, or about 1 year?
Scott, it took nearly 10 years of attempting to constrain every event, more than 300 events in the life and ministry of Yeshua, into the vice of linear chronology. Then I discovered the key moment in time that put everything in order. There is just one miracle recorded by all 4 gospel authors: the feeding of the 5,000. And it happened at the end of the summer when his disciples all returned from their paired assignments in the Galilee. The very next incident in the same chapter is the Feast of Tabernacles, which takes place in late September, early October on the Roman calendar. This feeding of the 5,000 gives us a singular moment in time, allowing us to synchronize all 4 gospel accounts with absolute precision. But I still had a problem that took another 10 years to solve. The feeding of the 5,000 took place a couple of weeks before the Feast of Sukkot, or Tabernacles. It is recorded in John chapter 6, and in chapter 7 of John, Jesus goes up to the Feast of Tabernacles. That all makes sense. But at the time of the feeding of the 5,000, John chapter 6, verse 4 reads, "And Passover, a feast of the Jews, was near." Wait, Passover is 6 months later. If this were Passover, why did every gospel author abruptly stop his historical account and say absolutely nothing for 6 months? And then report the feeding of the 5,000 and then not say another word for another 6 months until they were going up to the Feast of Tabernacles the next fall? That's ludicrous.
It does sound a bit strange. All 4 gospel authors dead silent for an entire year?
Well, it turns out that the words, "and Passover, a feast of the Jews, was near," found in the modern manuscripts of the Gospel of John, were not in any manuscript until the end of the 4th century, long after Eusebius came up with his 3.5-year ministry explanation. I have located the ancient manuscripts that prove this point conclusively. Now, remember, all of the church fathers and historians for more than 300 years all agreed, without one dissenting opinion, that Jesus' ministry was about 1 year. In John chapter 2, we read about the first Passover that Jesus goes up to, in which he meets Nicodemus. In John chapter 12, we read about the Passover in which he is crucified and then raised from the dead. The manuscripts that the early church fathers and historians were reading could not have possibly contained the Passover of John chapter 6, which was not added into the text until late in the 4th century. Not one of them would be so foolish as to not understand that it would take more than 2 years to fulfill 3 Passovers. Furthermore, no one goes up to Jerusalem for this Passover, which is required of all male Israelites. And Jesus feeds 5,000, and then a few days later, another 4,000 with leavened barley loaves. This is prohibited throughout all the land of Israel during Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. The original manuscripts of John record just over 1 year. In fact, a literal 70-week ministry of Messiah, a precise fulfillment of Daniel's prophecy, and hence the subtitle.
When we come back, what's inside the Chronological Gospels that makes it unique from any other Bible on the planet? Stay with us.
As a former pastor in over 5 different denominations and a teacher in Bible college and a lecturer in seminary, I learned more in 8 hours in a Jonah Code seminar than I'd learned in my previous studies. This book, The Chronological Gospels, is the combination of that actual seminar. When I'm doing studies, especially on the Gospel or the book of Acts, the Chronological Gospels is a valuable asset for me, because what it does is it puts me in the literal footsteps of Messiah at any point in his ministry. And so the Chronological Gospels actually allow me to see where Yeshua is, where Jesus is, when he's doing his particular teachings. For me, the Chronological Gospels is actually a great resource. It's an excellent resource. It is a valuable asset in my library, and I'm sure it will be a valuable asset in anyone's library who get their hands on the Chronological Gospels.
The Chronological Gospels Bible includes every gospel account of the Messiah's life, more than 300 events over the course of exactly 70 weeks, all in chronological order, plus the books of Acts and Revelation also included. The Chronological Gospels enables you to truly understand the meaning of the Messiah's 70-week ministry. Michael Rood has spent over 40 years organizing the Gospels accounts.
It has taken me an entire lifetime to get his words in chronological order and in proper context.
Right now, you can own the Chronological Gospels Bible for just $69. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, the Acts, and Revelation, all in chronological order, plus historical and cultural commentary you won't find in any other Bible. For a more in-depth study, consider the Chronological Gospels Essentials package, containing the Chronological Gospels Bible, a detailed timeline chart of the Messiah's 70-week ministry, plus the introduction to the Chronological Gospels 4-DVD set. Get the Essentials package now for just $117. If you're a Bible teacher or group study leader, consider the Chronological Gospels Educators Edition. It's the Chronological Gospels Bible in large print on regular size paper, plus convenient section tabs, all in a beautiful 3-ring binder. Yours for just $120. And for those who seek a deeper knowledge and understanding, get the ultimate collection, the Chronological Gospels Scholar Package. This package includes the Chronological Gospels Bible, the 4-DVD introduction set, the 70-week timeline chart, plus so much more. You get the entire Scholars Package for just $347, a savings of $97 off the retail price. Call or visit our website today to order your Chronological Gospels Bible or one of these package sets.
Welcome back. We're talking with author and historian Michael Rood about the features that make the Chronological Gospels different than any other Bible out there. Michael, as you explained, you've discovered that the Messiah's ministry was 70 weeks, not 3.5 years as Eusebius fabricated. And you figured that out by aligning all of the events using the feeding of the 5,000 as the master key, because it's the only miracle recorded in all 4 Gospels. Then you took all of these events and numbered them. Explain to us how that works.
Every word from the original 1611 King James Version has been considered, updated for changes in the English language, compared and corrected according to the original Greek and Hebrew manuscripts, and then placed in chronological order. More than 300 individual events with every word from each gospel author isolated to that particular event. That way you know everything that can be known about that event from the eyewitness accounts. The gospel records read like a screenplay to the greatest movie ever made. I call it the greatest story never told.
I like that, the greatest story never told.
In fact, the exact year of Yeshua's birth, the year his ministry began, the day he was baptized to the day he baptized his disciples with the Holy Spirit on the day of Shavuot, Pentecost, and every event in between is cataloged according to the ancient biblical calendar in use in Israel for more than 300 years after his resurrection. And it is synchronized with the Julian calendar, which was put in place 42 years before Yeshua's birth, and the Julian calendar is still the decimal point time clock of astrophysics today.
And so now anyone can line up those events with the exact time that they happened, using the timeline chart referenced in the back of the Bible, and included as a full-color scroll with the Essentials package. Now that chart and the corresponding index in the Chronological Gospels are color-coded. Can you explain to us how that works?
Well, on the chart, you see that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John each have their individual colors, and it shows us exactly what days in the Messiah's ministry are covered by that gospel author. When we go into the index in the Chronological Gospels, what we see is each column has been independently separated: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and every single event that is covered by that gospel author is there under that particular event. That way, looking at that particular event, you can go to the event, you can see exactly what gospel authors cover it, you can go to the event itself and read everything that can be known about that particular incident.
Now, a lot of Bibles have commentary, but nothing like this. This commentary is derived from Michael's personal experience living in Israel, learning the ancient and modern Jewish customs, understanding Bible history, and especially the teachings of the Pharisee rabbis, which were the dominant religious force in first century Israel. Michael, you have so many illuminating insights in the footnotes and pull from sources that most Bible scholars and commentators have never even considered.
Scott, if we do not understand the dominant religious culture of first century Israel, we will never understand why the religious leaders were so enraged by what Jesus did. It is the writings of the Pharisees, inscribed in the Talmud and Mishnah, their compilation of Pharisaic rules, that shows us that Yeshua is constantly and vehemently breaking their man-made commandments. I know these things firsthand because I've spent 2 decades in the land of Israel. I have family members who are Orthodox Hasidic Jews, rabbis. And without an understanding of Pharisaic Judaism, much of what Yeshua does to confront the religious leaders goes right over our heads. Jesus' first recorded miracle was not so much about turning water into wine. It was his deliberate defilement of the Pharisees' ceremonial stone water pots that were used for that marriage ceremony in Cana, which happens to be just a few miles from my home in the Galilee. You will read nothing about these stone water pots in the Bible, but their significance is clearly defined in the Talmud. And how about the healing of the man who was lame for 38 years? After Jesus healed him, he commanded him to break the Pharisees' invented law of the Arud, which forbade him from carrying away a simple bamboo bedroll on the Sabbath day, while every observant Pharisee could have done so with complete immunity.
Well, these things are interesting, but I don't know of anyone who is using stone water pots for religious purification rituals today. So why are these things important to us today?
Scott, unless we understand the land, the language, the culture of first century Israel, and the Torah, the 5 books of Moses, we will never understand the true ministry of the prophet of whom Moses prophesied, the Messiah, Yeshua, Jesus. I fully document Jesus' deliberate violations of man-made religion, and by the end of the chronological Gospels, you will clearly understand the gospel of the kingdom that Yeshua lived and taught, and that gospel will change your life for the better.
Well, when we come back, whether you're a Bible study teacher, pastor, scholar, or just someone who's yearning to know the truth, we're going to introduce several different packages to help you get the most from the chronological Gospels. Stay with us.
Well, we have a home Bible study, and we use the chronological Gospels as our main Bible tool. When you put the 4 Gospels in chronological order, the Bible just comes alive. And there are several different packages to choose from. There's the Chronological Gospels Essentials package, the Chronological Gospels Educators Edition, the Chronological Gospels Scholars package. Each package gives you greater depth of understanding into the life and times of the Messiah. As a matter of fact, we got the Scholars package because of all the priceless information that was included. This package includes the Chronological Gospel Bible, Introduction to the Chronological Gospel 4 DVD set, the Chronological Gospel Chart, a travel calendar, plus teachings, DVDs, and books that complement the Chronological Gospel Bible. Everything is properly annotated and laid out in an easy-to-read timeline as far as dates are concerned. Once you have the 4 Gospels in chronological order, it just makes the Bible come alive.
Just makes the Bible that much easier to understand.
The Chronological Gospels Bible includes every gospel account of the Messiah's life, more than 300 events over the course of exactly 70 weeks, all in chronological order. Plus, the books of Acts and Revelation also included. The Chronological Gospels enables you to truly understand the meaning of the Messiah's 70-week ministry. Michael Rood has spent over 40 years organizing the Gospels accounts.
It has taken me an entire lifetime to get his words in chronological order and in proper context.
Right now, you can own the Chronological Gospels Bible for just $69. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, the Acts, and Revelation, all in chronological order, plus historical and cultural commentary you won't find in any other Bible. For a more in-depth study, consider the Chronological Gospels Essentials package, containing the Chronological Gospels Bible, a detailed timeline chart of the Messiah's 70-week ministry, plus the introduction to the Chronological Gospels 4 DVD set. Get the Essentials package now for just $117. If you're a Bible teacher or group study leader, consider the Chronological Gospels Educators Edition. It's the Chronological Gospels Bible in large print on regular size paper, plus convenient section tabs, all in a beautiful 3-ring binder. Yours for just $120. And for those who seek a deeper knowledge and understanding, get the ultimate collection, the Chronological Gospels Scholar Package. This package includes the Chronological Gospels Bible, the 4 DVD introduction set, the 70-week timeline chart, plus so much more. You get the entire Scholars Package for just $347, a savings of $97 off the retail price. Call or visit our website today to order your Chronological Gospels Bible or one of these package sets.
Welcome back. Now that you know a bit about what's inside the Chronological Gospels, you can see how it's unlike any other study Bible you've ever used. The Chronological Gospels is heirloom quality, bound in elegant Italian leatherette, with deep embossing and platinum gilt pages. And it doesn't end there. You can own this unique Bible, packaged with several other exclusive teaching videos and books that you won't find anywhere else. Michael, you have the Educator's Edition, the Essentials Package, and the Scholars Package. Tell us more about these tremendous resources.
Well, Scott, I think it's important to first let everyone know that the Chronological Gospels is Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, the Acts of the Apostles, and the book of the Revelation. And it is the Apostle Paul that said that the feast of the Lord are all prophetic shadow pictures of good things to come. They are literally the mechanism whereby the Almighty has told the end of time from the very beginning. And we see in the first four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, it is Yeshua fulfilling the spring feast of the Lord, just as we had rehearsed them in the temple period for 1,000 years. And then the book of the Revelation is the detail of how the Messiah will fulfill the fall feast of the Lord. And of course, we do not have the conclusion of Luke's record in the Gospel of Luke. In the beginning of the book of Acts, it says that the book of Luke covers what he began to teach until the day he was taken up, his ascension. After that, it was the detail of how he instructed his disciples by way of the Holy Spirit. And so we have them learning to walk by the Spirit, sometimes the hard way. But it is the compilation, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, and the Revelation, that gives us the full revelation of Yeshua as the Messiah, Jesus as the reigning king who will rule this earth one day, and hopefully very soon. Now, let's focus on the Educator's Edition for just a moment. This is a large print version, which is perfect for use by pastors and teachers, or those who have eyes that are getting a little weak with age. Each page is identical to the deluxe version that their students will have in their hands, only larger, which will allow teachers to give accurate page numbers to their students. In the Essentials package, we have bundled the Chronological Gospels with the 70-week ministry timeline scroll and the 4-hour high-definition video Introduction to the Chronological Gospels that will thrill you with the details from Jesus' ministry that you have never before imagined. The Scholars Package is what I call seminary in a box. It will teach you things that you would never learn in Bible school. You have to live in the land of Israel to begin to comprehend the treasures in store for you.
Michael, these packages are incredible. Unfortunately, our time is almost up. Is there anything you would like to leave with our audience before we go?
It took me more than 40 years to discover the answers that allowed me to publish the Chronological Gospels. And after months of work, sometimes around the clock, finally, when it was all done and I sent it off to the publisher, that morning I said, I need a break. Well, 3 hours later, I was laying in the emergency room of the hospital with cardiac arrest. I had wires taped to my body, and as I laid there, I realized this could be it. This could be the end. And then I was deeply settled in my heart because I knew that what I was leaving behind was something that no one has ever done before. I'm leaving a gift to the world because I knew this is what I was called to as a young man, to put together the Chronological Gospels so that you could read it in context. And if these are the last words that I get to speak in this life, I want to encourage you to read the Chronological Gospels. Get to know the real Jesus, the real Messiah. I am reading this book over and over again because it is all about my Messiah. It has taken me an entire lifetime to get his words in chronological order and in proper context. because time is the ultimate context. Shalom, peace, and I hope to see you when the smoke clears.
Thanks for being here, Mike. Wonderful work.
I have a Chronological Gospels, and it is wonderful. It is the truth, the way, and the life.
I bought the 10 set of Chronological Gospels and the DVDs, and I am sending them out to people I feel, well, that would read them, and I think it will change their lives.
I don't think I chose Michael Rood's ministry. I think I was brought here, I was selected to be here.
You need a copy of the Chronological Gospels. You will learn so much that you just don't get by just reading your regular Bible.
The Chronological Gospels Bible includes every gospel account of the Messiah's life, more than 300 events over the course of exactly 70 weeks, all in chronological order, plus the books of Acts and Revelation also included. The Chronological Gospels enables you to truly understand the meaning of the Messiah's 70-week ministry. Michael Rood has spent over 40 years organizing the Gospels accounts.
It has taken me an entire lifetime to get his words in chronological order and in proper context.
Right now, you can own the Chronological Gospels Bible for just $69. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, the Acts, and Revelation, all in chronological order, plus historical and cultural commentary you won't find in any other Bible. For a more in-depth study, consider the Chronological Gospels Essentials Package, containing the Chronological Gospels Bible, a detailed timeline chart of the Messiah's 70-week ministry, plus the introduction to the Chronological Gospels 4-DVD set. Get the Essentials Package now for just $117. If you're a Bible teacher or group study leader, consider the Chronological Gospels Educators Edition. It's the Chronological Gospels Bible in large print on regular size paper, plus convenient section tabs, all in a beautiful 3-ring binder. Yours for just $120. And for those who seek a deeper knowledge and understanding, get the ultimate collection, the Chronological Gospels Scholar Package. This package includes the Chronological Gospels Bible, the 4-DVD introduction set, the 70-week timeline chart, plus so much more. You get the entire Scholars Package for just $347, a savings of $97 off the retail price. Call or visit our website today to order your Chronological Gospels Bible or one of these package sets.